Okay, what's going on YouTube? I'm here with my friend Tim. He's got a 2006 E60 M5 with 319,000 kilometers on it. I honestly, I didn't believe it when he first told me, but I was stunned. Like, when do you ever see an E60 M5 with that many kilometers on it? But Tim, I just wanted to ask you just a few questions regarding the car, and since ownership, how long have you owned the car for?
It would be the seventh year.
Seventh year?
Yeah.
You got it. Okay. Um, And in terms of kilometers, how many kilometers did you have on it when you initially got the car?
There was about 80.
80,000
80,000.
kilometers?
Yeah.
Okay. So Tim, I'm just curious, why did you choose the E60 M5? I know like it has, it's a big engine.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was looking at an E60 M5 at one point and looking at all the maintenance and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, I'm staying away from that.
Yeah. Realistically, at the beginning, I kind of knew what I was going to get into, but I didn't really know what I was going to get into by way of maintenance and stuff like that. I mean, the minute I got into the M5, it just anything else
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
It just wasn't going to be anything other than an M5.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like I test drove the 550, 535, and stuff like that, and they were all okay. Yeah, but the minute I got into that, it's
Completely
yeah,
game changer, eh?
pretty much,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
and then I was like, yeah, well, it doesn't really matter because realistically, I mean, I don't have a family or
Yeah,
anything like that.
exactly. You
So
don't have these obligations, right?
so I have
Yeah,
everything at my disposal
yeah,
if things go wrong. So
yeah.
that's why that's like, yeah. The minute I revved it and kind of blew down the highway and heard the sound, it was like, yep, that's
This
it.
is the car, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So.
that's cool. Um, what was the biggest maintenance job that you had to do on the M5?
Um,
Because I know like the SMG pumps are pretty big.
yeah. The biggest thing was the
Yeah,
clutch,
the
actually,
clutch. Yeah.
because I've maintained it over the years. Just recently, everything just guys are out there with their M5s, and when they go into the motor, they die or whatever. It just seems at a certain point, everything starts to successfully fall apart.
Yeah.
One thing
Yeah.
after another.
Yeah.
No matter what you fix, it's always another thing. So,
Mhm.
but at the first maintenance was actually the clutch.
Yeah.
I had actually called BMW for a clutch change, and they quoted me about 8 to 9.
Eight.
Yeah.
$9,000.
Yeah.
Holy
So
smokes. Yeah.
yeah, and I said, yeah, no. But lucky that I had a cousin who had a friend who owned a shop. Actually, Any Transmission, Sean Dial, was actually willing to take on the vehicle and
Yeah.
actually to be my independent.
Yeah.
And he went through everything. They went through every single thing, and they pretty much would do the things that BMW wouldn't, because usually you just swap out the tranny, the engine, or whatever,
Mhm.
the SMG, the whole pump, and not have to deal with just root causing every little thing. So he was willing to take on the job of the clutch.
Yeah.
Given that it took a little bit of time because he was getting familiar with the car and we were getting familiar with the car and what it took, and we were kind of learning as we go. But at the end of the day, it was a great job and it was pretty much half the price.
Yeah. Yeah.
Said, I did take my car to BMW to get it looked at the first time, but I wasn't satisfied with the assessment I got,
Mhm.
because I got this 5-page assessment that basically told me they wanted to rip my engine apart, and I just got the car.
Mhm.
I said, yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so like I said, but luckily I found Any Trans, and they've been kind of my independent since the clutch, and anything afterwards. I mean, we had to replace like the actuators and the like anything that needed replaced, anything that they needed to kind of root cause, they would. Like even the SMG sleeve and master and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Every little thing, instead of replacing the whole pump, they would root cause and say, it's this part.
Yeah.
And then
Not-
find the part
yeah.
and fix it, and not just say
Replace the entire thing, right?
SMG pump.
Yeah.
3,500.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah.
just the part. That's it.
Mhm.
Labor. And yeah, and the clutch was the biggest thing. And like I said, within the last, I'd say, 8 to 9 months, everything has kind of started to go, like the fuel pump and stuff like that, which kind of led into other things that, because there's no real maintenance schedule that tells you that you should be kind of monitoring these
Right.
things.
It just kind of goes whenever. Yeah.
And then you kind of look it up and say, yeah, you should be monitoring this.
Yeah.
Until it actually went.
Yeah.
And that's kind of backwards, where, I think maybe BMW did a better job of understanding how their parts work and where they are, and say you kind of need to monitor these at certain times, because I don't think they expect for people to keep their cars for, especially an M car, for
An M5 with 300,000 kilometers. Yeah. Like.
So and that's what I mean. It's like it's the original engine, it's the original transmission. The S&G pump, like I said, the only thing that was replaced was like the master cylinder or something like that. But everything is still original. Wear and tears, like I said, the last thing was the pump, and then the throttle body. I had to replace the throttle body, valve actuators and stuff like that. Little things that kind of creep up and kind of build up, right?
Yeah.
Until it gets to a certain point. Now it's I don't know exactly what's going to go next, but I know something's going to go because of the life. And that was the whole thing. Like even I did research on YouTube, and a couple of guys are like 7-year mark. I keep on hearing like 7-year mark. Their cars are limp or went just
AWOL.
AWOL and nothing's on, but it's still limp mode drivable, but you don't know what's going on or what's wrong with it and stuff like that. So, but each year it's I think it's on average it's probably I'd spend about maybe $7 to $8 grand on maintenance.
Really? It's not too bad.
It's not bad. Like if I averaged out, like I said, the majority of it so far has been in the last 9 months where everything's gonna go. So, but over time, like I said, like the beginning when I first got it, I got it in late 2011. So in 2012 we did the clutch. 2013 was was the slave for the SMG, and then 14. It's like each successive year was just something just in and around the 3,000 mark, something like that. So I mean, like I said, and just recently, because everything else was kind of compounded, it was 4,000, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, because it was everything else in between. But like the major repair was pretty much the clutch.
Okay, not too bad. And now, did you think the car would get to 300,000 kilometers?
I was hoping it would.
Yeah.
Because
well, it did.
It's like when I buy a vehicle, I drive it. Right? I don't park. I don't garage it or whatever. I drive it in the snow. I drive it in the rain. I drive it.
Yeah.
I drive my car. So, did I think it would get? Actually, I didn't.
Yeah.
At a certain point, because like I had to debate whether I would continue or not, but because the last repair was
right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was the hose, the hydraulic hose that popped, because when I had it towed, they said they seen the oil coming from the tranny or whatever. If the oil slipped into the clutch and stuff like that, then that's toast.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But it was just the hydraulic hose, and it just got everywhere. So
Okay.
as you can see, I got fixed, and I was driving it. It was like one of the cheapest repairs. So
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And how often did you perform oil changes on the car?
Regularly.
Yeah. Like every 10,000 kilometers?
At the beginning, first 2 years, it was probably 10.
Yeah.
And then within the last 3 years, I'd do it just for myself, because the distance I drove and how much I drove it. I'd be around 5 or 6. So
that's not too bad. Yeah.
It's like maybe 2 or 3 oil changes a year. It gets expensive because it's a 10-liter engine.
Yeah.
It gets up there, but the trade-off is that the car runs, right? So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's really all I had for you. Yeah, thanks. And Tim's actually getting the M550, which is awesome. So maybe we'll do a video on that and
Yes,
check it
once
out.
I learn how to drive that,
Yeah,
and,
of course.
you know,
Yeah.
see how that goes. So.
Yeah. What's going on YouTube? Thanks for watching my video about the E60 M5 with 200,000 miles or 300,000 kilometers. So please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't, please subscribe. Or at the end of that video, I know I was filling in some clips at the end. That's because I ran out of space on my memory card, but I hope you guys are okay with that. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and many more to come. Thanks.